Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Hey everybody, we've got a tremendous show for you this week. I've been working on it for over a month and a half, 2 months. We've got the co-founder and CEO of SolidBlock, Yael Tamar on. She is a thought leader and a visionary at the front end of the real estate tokenization business. We're going to talk to her about properties she's tokenized, what the process is all about, who some of the service providers are, why you should use them, why you should work with her, and what's coming down the pike for tokenization. Spoiler alert, I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to watch. So remember, stick with us, and we're going to turn it over to Mr. Mendoza as we talk about our friends at Warren Henry. Hey, everybody, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. I've got my brand new QX60 for them. I want to thank Larry Zinn and his team for putting all that together. Of course, I always want to thank Samantha Wolf for helping us out, too. And, of course, my big guy, Eric Day, there, too. I want to thank them all for making us part of the Warren Henry family. You should be part of the Warren Henry family, too. Up on 151st and Biscayne, they sell Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti and Jaguar. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audi. Down in the Keys, they sell them all, including the Jeeps. I may get one of those. I really love how they look and drive. Hey, what do all those cars have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That means you get a whole group of services, including a loaner car. If you need to leave it for service, you get a $100 key. Those keys cost $100. They'll replace them for free. Scrape up your rims. Well, they'll polish them up for you. They'll make sure you get the best price. They'll make sure you get the best price for your used car. And guess what? You get 72 hours, sorry about that, to make sure you like your car. If you don't like your car, you can return it. Guess what? Nobody returns their car because they all love them. They're all great cars. So join my beautiful wife, my mom, lots of my friends, and of course me. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
It's time to stop the hate and spread some love. You are beautiful, you're smart, you are awesome, and you never have to change for anybody. You have the voice and you have the power. We are so much stronger when we come together. It's your choice, so choose to be inspired. Choose to be accepting, be strong, be brave, be awesome, be daring, be kind. Choose kindness.
That is the most tremendous commercial, and it really reflects my business strategy as well. You know, I work with a lot of families. I bring them a lot of new ideas. You're seeing me talking about one of the new ideas today. It's an idea that a lot of my clients are executing on with me right now. So if you're a family and you're looking for some new ideas on your real estate deal, or just want to meet a partner or get some really creative capital, give me a call, DM me. And remember one thing, whenever you reach out to me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're back with more Freed on Business. Here today, we're talking real estate, both terrestrial and technology-wise. We've got one of the thought leaders in technology here with us today. She's the co-founder and CEO of SolidBlock, Yael Tamar. Welcome to the show, Yael.
Thank you so much, Jim. It's so exciting to be here.
Yeah, it's so great to see you. We first met at the Invendium conference, which was tremendous. I want to thank our friends at Invendium for getting us together originally. Now, tell us a little bit about SolidBlocks, and then I have a whole bunch of questions to ask you about tokenization.
Amazing. So, Jim, to unpack what SolidBlock does, we have to understand the issues in the real estate market today, right? So, real estate market is antiquated, as you know, and we're trying to get new tech into the market. But the biggest problem that we heard investors have today is really the lack of liquidity, and it hurts the sponsors as well. Right. So if I invest in a real estate project today, most likely I'm going to have to wait for 3, 4, sometimes 7 years to get my investment back. So there is really no secondary market for this type of product, and even there was no technological solution up until recently to enable investors to trade. Right. So that's why myself and my co-founder Yael, we were passionate about kind of bringing the blockchain aspect of liquidity and transactions into the real estate world. And what we essentially created is a way to manage the ownership cap table of an asset on the blockchain, right? Why do you want to put your cap table on the blockchain, you might ask? Well, Jim, it's number one, when investors basically buy a real estate product, real estate security, a fraction of a project, they will get this fraction into their wallet, and their ownership is recorded on the blockchain, meaning if they want to trade now this fraction wallet to wallet, peer to peer, they can do that, right? They don't need to involve the sponsor. They don't need to involve anybody. They basically can trade peer to peer. Now, this enables investors to invest freely and to buy and sell freely, right? Creates more flexibility and more liquidity. It creates transparency, and more importantly, I guess, it now gives them an opportunity to participate in a different type of finance, right? So we have traditional finance, right, where you basically have mortgage loans, right, and asset-backed loans. You can leverage your asset and get a loan outside of the bank. Those are kind of two options for you today if you have a real estate asset. But if you have invested in an asset, you don't have those leverage opportunities. So once we bring blockchain to the table, now you can actually take your token, which is backed by an asset, and you can leverage it, right? And there is a variety of lenders in the market that are ready to take tokens as collateral.
Now, let's talk for a second, because a lot of people are confused about tokens, and there's a lot of things to unpack here. Okay, yeah. Really, a token is just really a psychological term. It's a physical representation on the blockchain of paperwork that used to exist for syndication. Now, the real thing that you're adding here is liquidity. There's never been the holy grail for syndication. It's always been a secondary market. There hasn't been one. I know that we're going to be getting to a secondary market, but before we talk about that, I have a couple of baseline questions I want to ask. Would that be okay?
Absolutely. That's why we're here, Jim.
All right. So you create tokens. How do you handle getting the onboarding and upfront information together?
So just as you would during the regular securitization, right? If you want today to sell an asset to a number of people, then you would do that in two ways. One, you can go public. If you're a really big asset, you can, create a REIT, right? And go public with that REIT. And if not, if you don't want to go public, if you want to have a private offering for a large group of people, then you need to find an exemption, right? Under which you will sell this to various investors. So there are several options, right? If you sell to accredited investors, you can use an exemption called Reg D 506C, and what you can sell freely. And if you have retail investors, meaning non-accredited investors, just about anybody, you can do that through a crowdfunding platform. So that's the first question you need to ask yourself: what kind of offering you want to do? And again, this is just regular stuff, securitization 101. So let's say that you decided that you'll do a Reg D 506C offering for accredited investors. So you will get your offering memorandum together, private placement memorandum, again, securitization even before the blockchain, right? So in that PPM, however, you're going to need to add some sections about tradability, and that's new. So SolidBlock can help add relevant information to the VPM.
Now, I'm sorry, we're really getting in the weeds here. But really, what I wanted, so that's going to require a lawyer, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to require a lawyer. Okay. So actually, after this period, all there is blockchain, right? Once you have all of that done, then we create a smart contract, right? So a smart contract is a blockchain program, a blockchain protocol that will tie your investment in the investor to their investment, right?
Yeah, so, but my question here is, do you guys prepare the smart contract, or do you have a law firm that does the smart contract?
A smart contract is basically a code. So we code this is a fancy name for a contract between the buyer and the seller on the blockchain. Now, an advanced course to blockchain, not even 201, not even 301, maybe even higher, is when you would learn about metadata, which is basically kind of where data lives that accompanies the smart contract. That's where we would put the real contract. And the real contract we're talking about is a subscription agreement, right? The investor, So that's where the purchase agreement, essentially. Now, a smart contract will cite that agreement, but generally, the smart contract only governs three things. Number one, purchase. Number two, compliance, right? So only accredited investors will buy. And number three, resale, right? So you're able to buy and you're able to sell. In the future, you're also going to be able to leverage, like I said. That would be with a different smart contract.
Now, I think it's time for us to take a break. Let's take a deep breath, because that's a whole lot to digest. Woo!
Sorry about that.
We're going to come back after the break, and we're going to talk with Yael about more ideas. Her shop is the place to go, what types of deals they're doing, and much more. More on Freed on Business right after this. Mr. Mendoza, rock the house. Hey, I want to thank my friends at Warren Henry. I want to say thank you to Larry Zinn. I want to say thank you to Eric Day. I want to say thank you to Warren Zinn, of course. I want to say thank you to Samantha Wolf and, of course, my service advisor, Maytel Stark. They're all tremendous people, and so are the vehicles that they sell. Hey, if you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne. Up in Gainesville, well, they sell Audis up there. Down in the Keys, they've got all their great nameplates. I'm going to go down there and get myself a Jeep next time around. Oh, and by the way, thank you for getting me one of the first QX60s in the United States. The insurance company didn't even know how to insure it when I got it. Tremendous. I love those people. So join my beautiful wife, my mom, lots and lots of my friends, lots of my clients. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
Hey, this is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
Rebecca and Carlson Integrated, they've helped me build my brand. They help a lot of my clients build their brand and do production work for them. I highly recommend her. She's tremendous, and she brings incredible positive energy. And reach out to me if you want incredible positive energy too. I work with families, real estate operating companies, innovative real estate investment funds. I help put people together. Most people do their real estate as a matrix. I look at it as a Rubik's Cube. Most people are amazed that I can do things in just one phone call. That's because I've been around. I can bring that gray hair you got on both sides to your real estate transaction. I work with the next gen all the time. So call me, DM me, reach out to me. The reason to do that is because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Hey, we're back. I want to thank Yael from SolidBlock. She's the CEO. She's the founder. She's the leader in the wave of real estate tokenization. Welcome back, Yael.
Thank you, Jim.
Now, we were talking about smart contracts. We were talking about not needing a lawyer, maybe needing a lawyer. I think everybody always needs a lawyer. But I want to talk about your shop, other shops. Now, some shops are one stop from onboarding to the alternative market. Why is it better to use a specialty shop like SolidBlocks?
So we're really focused on everything that's connected to real estate on blockchain. So we are known in the industry as the company to go to for real estate tokenization because of the specifics of the real estate deals. That they're not so straightforward when it comes to dividend distribution or interest distribution on the blockchain, or it's very different to tokenize an investment fund where you kind of expect some payout at the end, or a real estate asset. They're very, very different products. So we focus specifically on real estate. We were involved in the first ever real estate tokenization, which was the St. Regis Aspen Ski Resort. So we actually developed the first smart contract in this industry, and we basically developed the standard, kind of moving along, right? And we're connected to a lot of players in the secondary market, so we can integrate it, right? So you have the flexibility. We actually are a one-stop shop, actually. So we onboard the project, we provide all the compliance, we provide the smart contract, we provide the platform for listing. So all of that, right? And then we're connected to various capital market players that will help fund the deal.
Now, can your tokens be listed on multiple alternative markets? Mm-hmm. Which markets? And do you tie into any specific custodial services? How about that?
That's a great question, Jim. So we are interfaced with many exchanges, right? So you can trade, right now, most of the assets are trading on one exchange. So you have most of the assets are, choose one or the other. So some are trading on T0, some are trading on INX. There's also Texture Capital. Those are the ones in the United States. And, there are a variety of, ATS-like exchanges outside of the United States that are an option as well. So, but now we're also going to start allowing trading on several exchanges. And that's also the reason why to tokenize with SolidBlock rather than, with an exchange as well, because you're not tied to that exchange, right? You can also trade over the counter. You can facilitate the trading over the counter for your investors, which is important, right? So if they find the buyer, somewhere else, they don't need to put their asset on an exchange.
Now, you touched on it a little bit. I know you work with T0 and you're talking about the other alternative markets. How do you see the different marketplaces evolving? For instance, I talked to people just today, and they're all thrilled about how they've funded their asset. They're looking to create the token, and the token's going to come. When is the time where we can do a U.S. traded token, and when is the secondary market going to appear for those tokens?
I think it's a catch-22 issue, Jim. I think we need more assets that are tokenized.
Working on it.
working on. I think in 5 years, every security issued, or the majority of them, are going to be tokenized. And the word tokenized, it just sounds like mysterious.
Yes.
But all it means, even if you don't plan on secondary trading, because some investors, like institutional investors, they will say, oh, we don't care about liquidity. So even if you don't plan on secondary trading, you already have enough benefits by just having your cap table on the blockchain.
Oh, 100%. And I believe it'll create institutionalization of the transactions. I believe that you're going to have what I call the little black boxes that are going to plug into the buildings and do the reporting. People will get instant and continuous valuations, which will allow them to have ultimate liquidity. I think it's an amazing concept. We've talked about it on the show, also with Olivia Ramos from Deep Blocks, the folks from Invendium, and all the other service providers that they have there. And another question that I wanted to ask was will there be enough depth and breadth of the investor base sufficient to support the investment market? When do you really think it's going to take off? We just touched on it, because is there a sufficient ecosystem, or are we just getting there? And do we need to go from barely there to sufficient to full? And I was involved in the early LP investing in the 90s and actually in the 80s. And so I just see this as an evolution. I talk to the FAs and the people that sell financial products. They can't wait to get their hands on this.
Gotcha. So I think that we're going to leapfrog the middle part. We're just at the very beginning. And it's just a game of numbers, Jim. There are only 8 million accredited investors in the United States. And that's where most of these products are going at the moment, right? Reg D, 506Cs. Now, we're going to see a lot more Reg A+. That's another exemption that allows you to raise from retail. And the regulators just recently gave permission or allowed those to happen for tokenized investments. Literally, they've only been about 2-3 projects, right? So this will go to retail. That's one direction. And that, of course, broadens the market. Why is Robinhood so successful? Interactive brokers, like all the brokers that sell stocks, because anybody can do it, right? So that's number one, that the fact that we will, at the same time as we'll open this market to retail, this market will be open to institutions. Institutions are cautious. But if I came to institutions 2-3 years ago and had meetings with them and they had no idea what I'm talking about or no interest, all of a sudden now we're getting phone calls. And why are we getting phone calls? As in the conference where you and I met, and I said the same thing. I said, raise your hands who here has a real estate portfolio or is invested in a project. Okay, so now you tell me, what is the average yield that you're getting? 7-8%. Well, guess what? You just put your digital cash, your USDC or stable coins on a staking or yielding platform with decentralized finance, meaning you bought some crypto, you're just locking it in a wallet, and now these companies, which are called liquidity providers, they're giving you 11%, somewhere between 8 and 12%, right? So that's who you're competing against, right? So that's the beauty of that market. What I'm getting to is that the institutions are seeing this and they're saying, why are we not a part of this? This is an amazing market. So it took institutions about 5-6 years to get into crypto, from the time like individual LPs, as you call them, investors, started investing. Maybe not even like the crypto geeks or the Bitcoin maximalists, just investors for purely getting a financial gain, right? So, but then institutions, even if they want to get into an asset class, they have to wait, because there are a variety of limitations. They need, analysts and dashboards and risk management, all of that. We're almost there. There are quite a few companies now that are providing all of those things. My prediction is that within a year, there will be a large player in the security token market, in tokenized real estate or tokenized something, and then we'll see a massive growth in this market, because at the same time, it will be open to both retail and institutional. And then your market base, Jim, is going from 8 million people to 100 or 200 million, right? Basically, what we see in stocks right now.
Yeah, the reality is that the institutions would take advantage of this if it were a traditional vetted security source. You're in the process of having the SEC make all this clean so that they can invest in it. I think that some of the resistance has been perhaps their internal boardroom concern about a lot of the issues that come with the historic blockchain currencies. I think that as you get like you said, a USD-oriented electronic currency, that they'll become better able to do it. And I also think that they're going to accept it more as the data becomes cleaner and easier for them to understand. There's all kinds of great ideas here that are going to keep going on. Talk a little bit about SolidBlock versus the competition and why SolidBlock is the way to go.
So we love our competition first and foremost, and we're learning so much from them. So I don't even see it's the game as us versus them. We're collaborating as well. But just in general, SolidBlock is striving to provide the most value to our partners and our clients. And I think the number one value is access to decentralized finance. So that's the number one value that we will strive, because everybody doesn't talk about the terms like liquidity. Everybody's talking about the cost of capital, because at the end of the day, that gets the benefits get passed down to investors, right? If it costs the asset owner a gazillion amount of dollars to raise the money, guess who's going to pay for it? Are they going to pay for it, Jim? No. Who's going to pay for it? The investors. Exactly. So we're all interested in the blockchain's benefit of liquidity, because in the bottom line is basically their cost of capital is going to decrease. So I think that's the main value that we're going to be able to provide, number one. And number two is just, we tremendously care about the customer experience, specifically for the real estate space.
Thank you. We care about you too. Thanks for caring about us. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out that we haven't really touched on is that when you have this secondary market in the blockchain, there's transactions. And when those transactions happen, people can charge a fee. And that's a whole new revenue source for the sponsors, isn't it?
Oh my God. It looks like you've been reading from my collateral materials.
Yeah, I'm here to help you, help me. Come on, let's talk about that. You know what? We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about new creative ideas on the blockchain where you can make money really today. And my clients are doing it, and I can't wait to introduce them to SolidBlock. Mr. Mendoza, play the music. Let's go. Hi, I love my brand new QX60 from Warren Henry. It's one of the first that arrived in the United States. I want to thank Larry Zinn and his team over there for making sure we got this tremendous car. My wife loves it. I love it. I just evaluated it on JD Power, gave it straight A's. It's an amazing vehicle. I highly recommend it if you're looking to buy or lease a car. You want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out my friends and your friends at Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at Biscayne and 151st. The Keys, well, they sell everything down there. And up in Gainesville, well, they sell Audis. What do all those cars have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That means complimentary service loaner. They'll give you a complimentary key if you lose your key. That means it's your $100 key. They'll replace it. Scrape up those rims when you're parking close. They'll polish them up for you and make your car look good as new. Hey, they'll give you a guarantee that you're getting the best price for your used car and a great price on your new car. And they'll make sure you have 72 hours to return your car if you don't like it. Guess what? Nobody does that because they're just such great cars and everybody loves them. So join my beautiful wife, my mom, lots and lots of my friends and clients. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
It's It's time to stop the hate and spread some love. You are beautiful, you're smart, you are awesome, and you never have to change for anybody. You have the voice and you have the power. We are so much stronger when we come together. It's your choice, so choose to be inspired. Choose to be accepting, be strong, be brave, be awesome, be daring, be kind. Choose kindness.
Hi, everybody. It's Jim Fried here. I deal with a lot of families and I help them with kindness and transparency. I introduce them to new concepts, new investors, new capital sources, new ideas, new product types, all kinds of cutting edge things. And that's how I do my deals. And I do lots of deals. Would you like to be part of my deal ecosystem? Then give me a call or DM me, reach out to me. And remember one thing, whenever you reach out to me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Fried on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Fried or at Fried on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Fried1. Now, back to your host, Jim Fried.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Fried on Business. I'm all excited because we're entering the blockchain frontier here. We've got my good friend, I hope I can call her my good friend, Yael. Bring back Yael there, Mr. Mendoza. There's Yael is the CEO and founder of SolidBlock. SolidBlock is where it's happening on the blockchain for real estate. We're going to talk about new ways you can make money with Yael right now. Yael, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Jim. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Better when I see you. So let's talk turkey. I've got a client. My client owns a hospitality firm. The hospitality firm wants to sell resort condos. They want to sell equity in their hotel, and they want to sell memberships in their club. Lay up to you. What do?
Oh my God, so many things. Well, we actually cover all of those, right? So
what a surprise.
Yeah, what a surprise. So one-stop shop, right, in the real estate space. So number one, I would really start with just putting their hotel ownership on the blockchain. That's just the very beginning, because that's the product that the institutions are going to love. And the investors, right? Because number one, they can trade. Number two, they can leverage their digital tokens that are represented or backed by real estate, and then they can get some loans. They can basically create portfolios that are fantastic and diversified, right? So it's all about kind of lowering and managing your risk. So that's the first thing. They'll come to us and we'll help them issue a security, and it will be recorded on the blockchain. The ownership will be recorded on the blockchain. They will get everything. They will even get built-in wallets, so the investors don't have to break, they won't have to worry about kind of keeping their keys or connecting MetaMask or those scary things.
Let's talk about that, because I've sat there with the people that have said, I lost my code. I can't remember the 7,000 words that they gave me.
I know.
Hey, do you make it easier for somebody to do this? Because that's really difficult. And when you lose that code, you're basically...
Okay, so just for crypto basics, right? In general, I do recommend for everybody to open a MetaMask and experiment. But in the same token, no pun intended, you can also open a Coinbase account, and that's another wallet. And you can, if you're playing with NFTs, for example, you can use MetaMask or you can use Coinbase. You can use like just some sort of a managed solution where somebody else manages your passwords for you, right? So, but MetaMask is kind of like a really good tool because it's used for connecting to different services. Like if you just want to play with it, you go to Twitter, which, by the way, I understand the whole acquisition thing. Is not about free speech. Like, I don't understand why people even say, like, who cares? Like, Twitter was already free speech. I think Elon Musk is in it because it's the only social media that's really on Web3, right? So Web3 is that kind of like the third wave of the web, right? So the first web was kind of when we all got on our computers, like, oh my God, there is internet on them right now. And this is the Simpsons kind of quote, right? And then the second wave was when the apps were around, and that kind of changed everything, right? When iPhone came out with the App Store, and it was very exciting. That was all about 14 years ago, right? And Facebook came to the space, and all the other social media. And now there's a new wave of the web, and it's Web3, and it's all about kind of you being the owner of your data, you being the owner of your asset. Everything is, you basically getting financial services from everywhere. You can go to Google and get financial services. You don't have to go to the bank. And it's all about that, right? So the Web3 is this new kind of verse, right? So, and Twitter is really a pioneer in the Web3 for social media. You can get an NFT for your profile picture. You can connect your kind of your wallet to it, and you can actually, you can trade, and you'll soon be able to pay. And that's why, right? That's why. Anyway, we kind of digressing, and
no, but I really appreciated the side tour. I think that it was tremendous.
Yes. Thank you. What was the second use case? So the first was they wanted to tokenize their holding, and then
first they tokenized their GP and the LP in the standard historic real estate deal called the hotel.
Yes.
Then they have the resort condos and the resort townhomes that everybody, look, I'm laying out your deal that you did. Come on, I'm being really good here. So now they're doing stuff that is, instead of being blended with everybody else and having a non-fractionalized ownership in the hotel and in the GP or the LP, now there's also a component in their development where they can have an actual direct one-to-one relationship on the asset, either the full asset, or I'll have to say it, fractionalization of the asset, which a lot of these places do. They like to sell 2 weeks, 4 weeks, a quarter, whatever.
Right, exactly. So if you want to sell a condo, just basically, be written in the title of the condo, like as an owner, you can probably just go and buy it. Or there is another company that I love called Propy, and they do NFT enabled title transfers, right? So if you're really interested in the title being written in your name, then Propy will help. It's a blockchain way of doing it. Now we have another product where we can, enable basically an investment in a condo for your personal gain. Like you can go and stay in the condo, and there will be an asset manager renting it out, and we can do that via an NFT, right? So you are buying it for basically your personal use, and somebody is helping you rent it out. So that's another use case that we facilitate. Yeah.
Now in that particular case, I retain the ownership, but I can but the master company above me, or that I can bring in, that's on my my contract, my smart contract, and it can either be fixed or floating. They can come and they can manage it down the road.
Yes, they manage it. Basically, usually the owner is also the operator. Right. So you just basically bought a unit, and your ownership is written in the blockchain that owner operator is providing, right? That the register, the books and records that they're providing. So you're not going to be written in basically in the title of the asset itself, right? So that's the difference. And because we don't want to get into it, frankly, we don't want to get into it.
Then I have the third thing. Okay, the third thing that comes with this, and it's especially things in Miami, Florida, New York, Chicago, where there's urban developments. They have all this, and then they have the fancy common areas. And the best way to maximize the capitalization of that is to, again, take that ownership, sell the ownership in the club membership to somebody else. Maybe they don't live in the condos. Maybe they don't maybe they're not a member of the hotel. They're just in the assets. We used to call it a rec lease back in the old days.
Yeah. I'll do one further. The same mechanism will be used for if you want to go and stay in a hotel for a week, or access to a restaurant, or any sort of club membership, like you said, that will award you a list of benefits, and those benefits can be customized, right? So that's a use case where you would again use an NFT, and the NFT it's actually used also as a key to open different services, right? And that's also, again, that's the beauty of using like a wallet, like MetaMask, or like some sort of a solution, is that you can go and you can connect to a lot of different services with that infrastructure. Now, I hope that one day we'll have a more user-friendly infrastructure in that sense, where you don't have to keep a phrase of 20 words. But in general, the NFT what is an NFT? Actually, we're throwing this frivolously, but we haven't explained what that was, right? So NFT is a non-fungible token. And the difference between an NFT and a security token that we talked about when we talked about tokenizing GP and LP interest is that in GP LP interest, you fractionalize the asset. It's basically like issuing shares, right? Security tokens are just basically shares on the blockchain. And NFTs, by contrast, represent a single asset. That's why it's non-fungible. Fungible means interchangeable. So you basically buying asset, you cannot exchange this for a different asset. Like you can exchange one Bitcoin for the other. They're all equal. One house is not equal to the other. One condo is not equal to the other. So that's why we're using NFTs. NFT is your personal thing. You bought it. It's personalized to you, that experience. And now if you want to share it or sell it, if you want to sell it, there are many marketplaces that are actually doing that, like OpenSea, for example.
Oh, this is tremendous. I'm going to hold on. I'm writing that down. I'm using my pink highlighter for that one.
Whoa.
Oh, okay. No, you get the pink highlighter on that one.
Right.
Now I want to go back to something else, which we talked about earlier and teased, but didn't go down the road on yet. So now I'm the club operator. I'm the hotel operator. I fractionalized what I'm going to do. Now somebody wants to trade their share or their interest in the ability to go do my stuff.
Right.
I could charge them a fee, can't I?
So absolutely. So actually the beauty of NFTs is that you can program a royalty in it. So you can actually charge them a fee forever. So you'll get a royalty from every single sale. And that's basically an industry standard. Now, with a security token, in general, it's called an OTC, over-the-counter transfer, that you can facilitate. Unfortunately, you actually cannot charge a commission on that because that is a security, unless you're a broker-dealer. So, like as you mentioned earlier, this could be a great business for broker-dealers, right? So, on an earlier podcast, I would say. It's tricky, a little bit tricky, because there's a lot of lawyering in our industry. But notwithstanding, when you let people trade, you give them a tremendous benefit, and at the end of the day, they will take that cash and go back and invest with you.
Now, Mr. Mendoza, do we have some more time in this segment? Because I wanted to talk to her about the deal that she did. I wanted to get some general information and use it as an example. Do we have some time, Mr. Mendoza, or should I go to break and come back for that?
You should go to break and come back.
Well, then I guess that answers my question. We'll be right back with some really great examples from Yael after Mr. Mendoza pays the bills. Hey, I want to thank my friends at Warren Henry for the brand new QX60. I just did the little survey for JD Power. That vehicle gets straight A's everywhere. I'd buy 10 of them if I needed them. I recommend them to virtually everybody. Drives like a dream, and it feels great when you're inside. And all the accoutrements and bells and whistles. Thank you so much to Larry Zinn and his team for getting me one of the first models here in the United States. The insurance company didn't even have it listed on its list of vehicles yet when I called in to get the new insurance. Hey, when you're looking to buy or lease a new car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne. Gainesville, that's where they sell the Audi cars. Down in the Keys, well, they've got everything down there. What do all the cars have in common? Well, they're all great cars. They come with Warren Henry Advantage, which is a great list of things that you get when you buy your car. It starts off with you get a service loaner if they've got to keep your car for service. And you get, they'll polish up your rims if you scrape your rims. And if you lose your keys, well, they'll help replace those $100 keys. And they'll make sure you're getting the best price for your used car. And they'll make sure you're getting the best price on the new car. And they'll give you 72 hours to make sure you like your car. And if you don't, you'll return it. Guess what? Nobody returns those cars. They love them because they're so great. So join my beautiful wife, Vivian, my mom, me, lots and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service. You got it. Always Warren Henry.
Hey, this is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
Rebecca Carlson and her team are so full of positive energy, and they help me project that positive energy all the time as my social media and marketing resource. They've done it for a lot of my clients too. They're tremendous. Hey, and reach out to me. I help a lot of families, family offices, real estate operating companies, and realtors and real estate brokers, individual investors. Everybody kind of reaches out to me. If they need help, I usually know how to provide it. I put them all together. I operate sort of like a Rubik's Cube, but usually it only takes me one phone call to solve somebody's problem. So reach out to me, DM me, give me a call, email me. And remember, whenever you do that, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's a tremendous show. I hope you continue to take notes, and it'll be posted up online. This is a groundbreaking show. I'm joined today by the CEO and co-founder of SolidBlock, Yael. Tamar. There she is, and I mess up everybody's name, so I really apologize.
My name is not easy, so it's all good, Jim.
You're the best. What else isn't easy is learning about blockchain, real estate deals, and we've been talking about it for the last few segments. Now I want to give a real-life example. Yael is a market maker and and has just finished the Frontier transaction here, the primary transaction that all others will be benchmarked off of. Yael, please tell us a little bit about the transaction, stuff that you can make public, and how it's a great example of people using the blockchain technology and what's coming up.
Sure, Jim. So I guess we want to talk about the Aspen coin, and that was actually issued about 3 years ago. And there's a lot that's been done in the industry, but I like using that example because it was kind of, as you mentioned, the benchmark in the industry. So, and anybody can go and see it today if they go to T0, and they can buy it actually there. So Aspen coin is basically a digital representation or blockchain representation of a stake in a Aspen St. Regis ski resort, which is a famous resort in Colorado. Anybody who skis will know that hotel, will know that resort. So at that time, the resort wanted to do some renovations and increase occupancy. They wanted to raise capital, and even their existing investors were willing to put more capital in. But the only stipulation they had is that they wanted an exit mechanism. As you know, with landmark assets, it's actually kind of expected that you'll be holding this investment forever, right? They're not getting sold. That's why they're landmark. So the investor said, we want to be able to go out. So find us that mechanism. Let's try to go public. So they thought about going public, which is an expensive process. There's lots of reporting, lots of bells and whistles, and that idea was scrapped. And really in 2018, that's when security tokens started. It was basically a kind of evolution of another token-based fundraising, which was called utility tokens, which were at that time, the SEC was cracking down on most of them, saying that they're actually securities. And so I thought to myself, and also my co-founder thought to himself individually, we thought to ourselves, wow, why is there no compliant offering for securities? And so, so I wasn't a part of SolidBlock at the time. I joined right after, as I heard about the project. But Yuval actually created a product in the websites specifically for security token offerings for real estate. So Aspen Coin Manager Elevated Returns, Aspen Ski Resort Manager Elevated Returns reached out to Yuval, to SolidBlock, to build the smart contract. And that's how, and then the rest is history, right? So we were a part of this, I would say, historical event where we were able to facilitate tokenization, facilitate investment, and create a cap table of investors on the blockchain, right? So a big accomplishment there was that we created a built-in compliance. What does that mean? It means that the smart contract ensures that only investors that have passed all the checks that are required, KYC, know your customer, anti-money laundering, and accreditation, only those investors are able to invest. And if you did not pass those checks, you cannot invest, you cannot get a token in your wallet. So that was the beauty of this project from the beginning. Now, after a lockup period, which is required by regulation, the project was listed on T0, which is one of the ATSs, one of the leading ATSs, and alternative trading systems, which is like an exchange with slightly reduced regulatory requirement. And so now it's trading, and it's trading pretty successfully on that exchange.
So then the value of the tokens floats with the market, or do they have a defined value?
Oh, they float with the market. There is a kind of a minimum transaction requirement for it to be valued by the market, and if the trading volume does not reach that minimum threshold, then the value defaults to the NAV. That's the basic calculation.
Okay. Now we talked about T0. Tell us a little bit about why you put this on T0 and what T0 does for it.
So the decision to list something actually lies at the hands of the asset owner and the asset manager. So we'd have to really ask Elevated Returns, but I think at the time they were the only ATS, and also they're really great people. We know them really well, and they do everything in the most compliant way, and the technology is solid. So I think that the decision was easy at the time. Now you have a few other contenders to look at. So at the end of the day, this is great because, again, competition creates better technology, better businesses. So I view it as a great thing to have a variety.
Now, what are some of the things that we should be looking for in this sector in the coming months? I know it's still coming together. It's still at its minimal size for being an effective ecosystem. What are some of the milestone events that we can look forward to in the next few months?
From SolidBlock or the industry?
Whichever you prefer. If you want to tell me SolidBlock, I'm happy to make news anytime.
Yeah, so I think we're going to be announcing a lot of things soon, and I don't want to put the carriage before the horse.
So let's talk about the marketplace.
I will hint at a few things. We're really involved now in taking this industry further, right? So we love to we love to be the first, and we love to be the leader in the market, and we love to predict trends. And I am super excited that there are quite a few things that I've been talking about for the last 2-3 years that I thought maybe nobody's listening or nobody's understanding. I'm getting phone calls right now about those things, and not because they heard me. Maybe they did, but because they come to the same conclusions. And that's beautiful. So number one is being able to leverage real assets to get to the DeFi, decentralized finance market. Number two, to be able to create structured products from these tokenized or digitized assets. And number three would be to create new DeFi product. We will announce in 2-3 weeks what the new DeFi product we're creating. I think it's going to be pretty much I wouldn't say a benchmark, but I would say that this will help us facilitate liquidity. You were asking about liquidity. So we have a solution that we thought through because we have the same problem as everybody else. Until we do have a lot of users, a lot of liquidity and trust in this market, we won't be able to develop. So I think that our solution will address that.
Now, what about the marketplace? What can the marketplace expect? We've only got a couple of minutes, and you're my futurist today. So look into the future.
Yeah, I have my future glasses.
Your future glasses, not your meta glasses, your future glasses.
Right. So it's actually fairly simple. As I mentioned, the investors are getting into the market. Right now we have only accredited, but soon we'll also have retail and mainly institutional. Institutional investors are really what drives the majority of the markets today. No matter how much we want to believe that it might be us, and we've seen actually that individual investors do create impact, but institutional investors simply have more money and people trust them more. So that's the way we saw crypto. When institutions entered in the crypto market, and it's taken off, right? It also made the crypto market kind of follow NASDAQ, which kind of sucks. But this it's a part of the game. I think at some point it actually will decouple. But in general, once we have the big guys and girls enter the market, we'll see a huge wave and huge growth and asset flow. Why? Because they have a lot of assets, right? Yes. So yeah, they do, and so that's
they want to monetize them, and they want to maximize the monetization, which is where they're at right now. But it allows them to also keep the asset management, the property management allows them to direct the service stream, which is how they. Oh, I'm going to have to just say their dirty secret, how they source their deals. They trade it. Oh, yeah, they trade the bennies to the brokers to get their deals sourced. Come on.
Of course.
So to me, it sounds like a really big circle that's starting to come together. Now, we've only got a couple minutes left, and I just cut you off twice because that's my specialty. What is your last message that you were trying to get out? What's your message to the people that really are looking to you as a leader, as a thought leader, as a futurist, as a person that's pioneering in the marketplace? What do you see in the technology aspect of real estate going forward? What's your one good thing?
I would say just try doing new things, right? So try. Just like I said, even if you're not in crypto, open a wallet. And I'm not an investment advisor, of course.
Thank you. Neither am I.
Yeah. So just open a wallet, just start playing around, learn. And listen, every day I learn new things, and I'm really in this industry. And sometimes I look at something and see, wow, like today I saw on Twitter, I chatted with somebody and I saw that they have a .eth ending. I went to his .eth site. It took me to Etherscan, which is his wallet. And I was like, why do people connect their wallets to this? And then I looked through all the investments he's made, all the NFTs he has. And then there is a chat window. And then there was another thing. He was connected to all his other wallets. I really I didn't understand people do that. So
it's a marketplace. They're creating an individualized marketplace.
I know. So I was blown away. Like, this is basic stuff that I miss sometimes because I'm in my world, the tokenization world. And then I have to go back once a week and catch up with the crypto world, right? And then the real estate world, of course, is happening, but thankfully it's not developing so fast. However, I do try to stay on top of the prop tech trends. Like, really, I spend time reading. I have analysts in our company. I asked them to put together yesterday, actually, a whole list of questions that I wanted to know what's happening in different regions, just to know, because we interface with prop tech, property technologies as well. It's important for us to know what's there. So learn about what's out there. Learn more about tokenization. We have a course called Tokenization 101. Happy to, give.
My friends have taken it. I just listen to them.
Nice, great. So that's that, and try new things, invest in new assets. Tokenized assets. Just go and look at different opportunities.
Well, you're great. I want to thank you, Yael, for being here today.
What? And tokenize your assets if you're an asset owner. Tokenize your assets.
That's what we're doing here. I'm going to ask them to move their assets and get them tokenized, and we're going to. Well, that's part of what my business plan is coming up, is to work with you and your team. Obviously, our folks at Invendium, we're working with a lot of different people, creating information and creating process management for them, because it's a new world, and most people need a guide. It's not a place. It's not a place to go if you don't really have a guide.
Right. I love it. Move your assets to the blockchain. That's so good. That's so good, Jim.
You can take it. Listen, my favorite blockchain person, Yael, thank you so much for being here from SolidBlock. We've got to get you together with our other futurist, Olivia Ramos from Deep Blocks. The two of you are my big data people. Ooh, look at that.
I love that. I love that. Let's do this.
We're going to make it happen.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Yael, the CEO and founder of SolidBlock. Thank you so much. Have a great day. That was Yael Tamar, the CEO and founder of SolidBlocks. We had her live on tape from Israel. She's tremendous. We're going to get her together with Olivia Ramos and watch the two of them talk technology. We'll hopefully get that done in the next month or two. Remember, every week, Wednesdays at noon, we're live, and then the show is up all week. I want to thank our sponsors at Warren Henry Automotive. And remember, the person who wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.